Good afternoon, Year 2. Today's 3 o'clock read is one of my favourites from my own collection of stories, so you might have heard it before. It's called The Mermaid and the Parakeet. I wonder if you recognised the picture that this is based on from the videos that we watched today. The Mermaid and the Parakeet is a piece of collage art by Matisse, so you might have noticed it in the videos that you watched today. The author and illustrator of this book have been inspired by Matisse's art, and in particular The Mermaid and the Parakeet. They wondered, who is the mermaid and who is the parakeet, and how did they end up in the same piece of art together? How do they know each other? This book is an imagined story about how they met. I hope you enjoy it. The Mermaid and the Parakeet by Véronique Massenot. There was once an ocean, wide and beautiful, and it had everything an ocean should. Islands and boats, fish and shellfish, and even a mermaid swaying across the bottom among the seaweed and corals. One day a storm came, so loud and so strong, with all it could contain of anger and rage. The wind began to blow madly, the clouds to swell, and the thunder to roar, roar, roar. Amid the darkness of the sea appeared thousands of gold lightning bolts. The storm was getting out of control. Luckily, all the boats had come safely back to harbour, and the islands were laying low. Underneath the water, everyone was trying to hide, the shellfish in the sand and the fish in the rocks. But the mermaid, alas, could find no shelter, not even something to hold on to, so the floods took her away. The storm, in its wrath, pushed the waves onto the shore. The ocean was overflowing. The beach, the forest, everything was flooded. When the storm began to quiet down, the water slowly pulled back. The sun came out of the clouds and gently began to dry the foliage on the trees. But poor little mermaid! The waves had dropped her on top of a tree branch. Without any legs, how would she ever manage to get down? As she was looking down, the mermaid saw strange animals flying around her. They have wings, she thought. They must be birds. How beautiful they are. All alone on her branch, the fishwoman felt her heart throb. How frightening it was to be so far from the water. But how delightful too. She could now discover the jungle and the warmth of its colours. One of the birds approached her. "Greetings, gentle lady. I am the prince of the parakeets. And you, who might you be?" The mermaid introduced herself and told him her story. "Alas, with my fishtail I cannot reach the sea, and without any water I will not survive." A tiny tear, made of gleaming mother of pearl, rolled down her rosy cheek. The parakeet felt his heart tighten. What misfortune! I may be a prince, but I remain only a small bird, he thought. How could I save her life? The mermaid's despair distressed him. Full of compassion, he flew to her and perched himself on top of her shoulder. Then something incredible happened. In a burst of feathers and colours, the small parakeet turned into a strong and handsome bird prince. The prince took the mermaid under his wing and carried her down from the tree. He then began to walk at a swift pace, as if he had always known how to walk like a man. "I know a place," he said, "where a waterfall flows. I will take you to it, and you will be saved." From this day on, and forever after, it is said that near a clear and pure stream, a woman with the tail of a fish and a man with the wings of a bird love each other with tender and blended hearts.